Welcome to Senior Health and Happiness, where we believe that aging can be graceful, strong, and joyful. Let's take care of your health, one simple habit at a time. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever paused for a moment and wondered why some people in their 90s still walk to the market, tend their garden, or laugh with old friends every afternoon? Meanwhile, others begin to feel tired, isolated, or ill much earlier in life. You may have thought, well, maybe they just have good genes. But what if I told you, genes only play a small part in how long and well we live? Today we're taking a gentle walk around the globe to explore the daily habits of the world's healthiest seniors. In places like Okinawa, Sardinia, and Costa Rica, people are living past 100, not just surviving but truly thriving. What's their secret? What are they doing differently? And more importantly, what can you start doing today to support your own healthy aging? This video isn't about magic pills or impossible routines. It's about small choices, tiny steps, consistent habits that can lead to a longer, more joyful life. We'll talk about what these seniors eat, how they move, the way they rest, and the strength they draw from their communities and sense of purpose. Maybe you're in your 60s, just starting to think more deeply about your health. Or perhaps you're already in your 70s or 80s, wondering what changes are still possible. Let me reassure you, it's never too late. Our bodies and minds are wonderfully adaptable. Even one new habit, just one, can ripple into a life that feels fuller, calmer, and more connected. So I invite you to stay with me until the end of this video, because each section builds on the last, painting a complete picture of what healthy longevity really looks like. Not in theory, but in real homes, with real people, just like you. And by the end, I hope you'll feel not only informed but also inspired, ready to take at least one new idea and try it in your own life. Shall we begin? Through the blue zones, where people live the longest. Let's begin our journey in the places where people live the longest and feel the best. These places are known as the blue zones. The term was first coined by researchers who studied parts of the world with unusually high numbers of people living into their 90s and even beyond 100, while staying remarkably healthy. And what they discovered wasn't luck or luxury, it was lifestyle. There are 5 original blue zones: Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Icaria in Greece, and Loma Linda in California. They're scattered across different continents with different languages, religions, and customs, and yet somehow their elders share similar ways of living. It's not about one single superfood or secret workout. It's about daily life, how they eat, move, rest, and connect with one another. Let's take a closer look at Okinawa, Japan. This island is home to the world's longest living women. Many of them are still active well into their 90s, cooking meals, dancing with friends, and tending to their small gardens. They eat plenty of vegetables, especially sweet potatoes, tofu, and seaweed. But more importantly, they eat with intention. They even have a phrase for it, harahachibu, which means eat until you're 80% full. It's a small habit, but it helps prevent overeating and keeps the body light and healthy over time. Now let's visit Sardinia, Italy. High in the mountain villages, men often live as long as women, something quite rare in other parts of the world. These Sardinians enjoy a simple diet rich in beans, whole grains, goat's milk, and fresh herbs. They walk everywhere, often up steep hills. But beyond the food and the exercise, there's something even more powerful: their strong family ties. Elderly parents and grandparents live with their children and grandchildren. They are honored, included, and engaged in daily life. And that connection, that feeling of belonging, may be one of the greatest medicines of all. Over in Costa Rica, the Nicoya Peninsula is home to some of the happiest and healthiest seniors you'll ever meet. Their secret? A combination of natural food, daily sunlight, physical labor, and a deep sense of purpose. Even in their 80s and 90s, many still have roles in the family or community. They feel needed, and that gives them strength. They eat corn tortillas, black beans, and tropical fruit. They drink water high in calcium. And perhaps most importantly, They live with a sense of peace. Then there's Icaria, Greece, a beautiful island in the Aegean Sea. Here, people don't just live longer, they live better. Rates of dementia, heart disease, and depression are dramatically lower than average. Their diet is Mediterranean, filled with olive oil, vegetables, and small amounts of fish. But they also take daily naps, spend time with friends, and live without hurry. Time feels slower in Icaria, and the body seems to thank them for it. Finally, we come to Loma Linda, California, the only blue zone in the United States. It's a community of Seventh-day Adventists who focus on plant-based eating, restful living, and spiritual connection. They take the Sabbath seriously, spending one full day each week away from work and stress. Many walk daily, avoid processed foods, and nurture strong friendships. So what can we learn from all these places? Despite their differences, they share common threads: natural movement, simple whole foods, strong social ties, low stress, and a deep sense of meaning. Not perfection, not wealth, just habits repeated with care every day. And that's the good news. It means these secrets aren't locked away in far-off lands. They're right here, waiting for you to try them in your own way. Next, we'll take a closer look at what these seniors actually eat and how you can bring some of those delicious and healthy habits into your kitchen. 3. Diet wisdom. What the healthiest seniors eat every day. When we think about health and aging, one of the first things that comes to mind is food. But not just what's on our plates, also how we eat, when we eat, and why. In the blue zones. And among the world's healthiest seniors, food is more than fuel. It's nourishment for the body, the mind, and the spirit. Let's begin with something simple. Meals are not rushed. In Okinawa, for example, elders prepare their meals at home with fresh ingredients, vegetables, legumes, and fermented foods. They sit down without distractions, eat slowly, and savor each bite. That habit alone allows the body to digest better and to recognize when it's had enough. Remember the phrase we mentioned earlier, hara hachibu? Eat until you are 80% full. This practice helps prevent overeating and the sluggishness that comes after a heavy meal. It's one of the most consistent habits among long-living seniors. Now, what's actually on the plate? Across blue zones, the diet is mostly plant-based, not vegan or vegetarian in the strictest sense, but centered around vegetables, beans, grains, nuts, and fruit. In Nicoya, Costa Rica, elders eat a daily staple of black beans, rice, squash, and corn tortillas. These foods are rich in fiber and protein, low in fat, and naturally satisfying. They also drink lots of water, often from calcium-rich springs, which helps keep bones strong even in old age. In Sardinia, Italy, meals often include minestrone soup filled with beans, potatoes, and greens. Bread is made from sourdough and whole wheat, which digests more slowly and keeps blood sugar steady. And although wine is part of their tradition, it's taken in moderation. One small glass with a meal, enjoyed with friends. There's no binge eating or mindless snacking. Meals are social and meaningful. Many of the world's longest living seniors also enjoy fermented foods, like miso soup in Japan, yogurt in Greece, or kimchi in Korea. These foods are good for digestion and help support a healthy gut, which is increasingly linked to better immune function and mood as we age. Protein sources tend to be modest and mostly plant-based. Instead of steaks and burgers, it's more likely to be lentils, chickpeas, tofu, or a few ounces of fish. In Loma Linda, for example, many Adventists follow a vegetarian diet and report lower rates of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Their plates are full of colorful vegetables, roasted carrots, steamed greens, and baked sweet potatoes. And portions? Smaller than what we're used to in the modern Western diet. Enough to nourish, not to overwhelm. But here's something just as important as the food itself: how it's shared. These seniors rarely eat alone. Meals are often taken with family, neighbors, or lifelong friends. Eating together builds connection, lifts the spirit, and reduces feelings of loneliness, which, as we'll see later, has a major impact on overall health. And don't worry, you don't have to change everything overnight. Maybe you start with one meal a day that's home-cooked and eaten slowly. Or try swapping red meat for beans a few times a week. Even something as simple as drinking more water and less soda can make a difference. Food is one of the most powerful tools we have for healing, energy, and longevity. But it works best when it's part of a rhythm, a life lived with intention, balance, and joy. Now let's shift our attention to how these seniors move, not through intense workouts, but through simple, meaningful motion woven into their daily lives. 34. Daily movement, not intense exercise. When we hear the word exercise, many of us think of gyms, treadmills, or workout videos filled with loud music and complicated moves. But among the world's healthiest seniors, you won't find many fitness centers or personal trainers. Instead, their secret lies in something much simpler: natural movement, gently repeated every day as a normal part of life. In Okinawa, elderly women in their 80s still tend to their gardens, kneeling and standing multiple times a day. They sweep their floors, cook their meals, and walk to visit neighbors. None of these are workouts, but together they add up to steady, meaningful physical activity that keeps their bodies supple and strong. In Sardinia, many men live in hillside villages where walking up and down steep paths is just part of daily living. They herd sheep, chop firewood, and walk to the local cafe to talk with friends. They don't carve out time to get their steps in. They simply live in a way that keeps them moving, hour by hour, year after year. And this is good news, especially for those of us who don't enjoy formal exercise. It means you don't need to join a gym or buy fancy equipment to support your health. Movement can be gentle. It can be joyful. It can be folded into the rhythm of your day. Maybe that means taking a short walk after breakfast, or putting on music while you fold laundry and letting your body sway a little as you move. It could be stretching your arms while waiting for your tea to brew. Every bit counts. Studies show that light, consistent movement has powerful effects. It lowers blood pressure, improves circulation, supports brain health, and reduces the risk of falls. It can even ease joint pain and stiffness, especially if you're moving in ways that feel comfortable and natural. In Loma Linda, California, many Adventists take daily walks as part of their routine. It's a quiet time for reflection, prayer, or chatting with a friend. Walking has a remarkable ability to lift the mood, stimulate digestion, and keep the legs strong. And remember, movement isn't just about the body, it also supports the mind. People who stay active tend to sleep better, feel more energetic during the day, and experience less anxiety and depression. If mobility is limited for you, don't worry. Chair exercises, gentle stretching, or even light household chores can all serve the same purpose. What matters most is that you keep your body in motion, in whatever way feels safe and enjoyable for you. And here's something you might not expect. Many of the world's healthiest seniors actually avoid prolonged sitting. In Okinawa, people sit on the floor, and getting up and down keeps their joints and muscles engaged. While that may not work for everyone, the idea is simple. Change positions often, take breaks from long periods of sitting, and keep your body gently active. So instead of thinking about exercise as a chore, think of it as movement with meaning. Movement that connects you to your home, your hobbies, your neighborhood. Movement that tells your body, I'm still here, I'm still strong, I still have purpose. Next, we'll explore another secret these long-living seniors share: the strength that comes from relationships, community, and a deep sense of purpose. 5. Strong social ties and purpose, the invisible medicine. If there's one thing we often overlook in conversations about health and aging, it's the power of connection. But the truth is, no matter how well we eat or how often we move, we're never meant to live in isolation. We are social beings, and among the world's longest living seniors, strong social ties and a clear sense of purpose are as essential as food or exercise. Let's go back to Okinawa for a moment. Here, elders belong to small groups of lifelong friends called moai. These are more than social clubs, they're support systems. Members of a moai check in on each other, share meals, offer help when someone is sick, and celebrate life's small joys together. This sense of belonging provides comfort, reduces stress, and adds meaning to every stage of life. In Sardinia, it's common to see several generations living under one roof. Grandparents aren't pushed aside. They're honored and included. They help raise grandchildren, pass down traditions, and remain active members of the household. This intergenerational living creates a deep well of emotional security, especially in later years when loneliness can quietly creep in. Over in Loma Linda, the Seventh-day Adventist community places strong emphasis on faith and fellowship. Weekly gatherings, shared meals, and acts of service keep people connected to something larger than themselves. There's a rhythm to life, anchored in both spiritual and social engagement. And that rhythm, predictable, grounding, can be incredibly protective for both mental and physical health. You see, loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's a health risk. Studies show that chronic loneliness can increase the risk of heart disease, depression, cognitive decline, and even early death. On the other hand, meaningful relationships help lower blood pressure, improve immune function, and give us the strength to handle life's challenges. And then there's purpose. In Nicoya, Costa Rica, the elders refer to it as plan de vida, a reason to get up in the morning. Even in their 80s or 90s, many still tend crops, cook for the family, or teach young ones traditional skills. They feel needed, valued, useful. That sense of purpose becomes a powerful motivator to stay well, stay engaged, and keep moving forward. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as caring for a pet, calling a friend each day, volunteering once a week, or nurturing a small garden. What matters is that it brings joy and meaning to your life. It gives you a reason to rise, a reason to smile, a reason to be. And here's something truly beautiful. Even those who live alone can build meaningful connection. It might begin with one phone call, one note to a neighbor, or joining a community group. Even watching this video, sharing space, even virtually, can be a starting point for greater connection. So if you've been feeling a little isolated, know that you're not alone. And know that there's always time to reach out, to reconnect, and to rebuild your sense of community. It doesn't take much, but it can change everything. Up next, we'll look at another hidden key to longevity: the art of rest, routine, and reducing stress in a way that supports both mind and body. 6. Rest, routine, and stress-free living. In our busy modern world, rest is often treated like a reward, something we earn only after everything else is done. But among the world's healthiest seniors, rest isn't a luxury. It's a rhythm, a daily practice, a kind of nourishment just as essential as good food or movement. In the Greek island of Ikaria, the pace of life is noticeably slower. People don't rush. They rise with the sun, take breaks in the afternoon, and often nap after lunch. These midday rests are not a sign of laziness. They are a respected part of the culture, and science backs them up. A short nap can lower stress, improve memory, and reduce the risk of heart disease. And when combined with a good night's sleep, it supports the body's natural healing processes. The residents of Loma Linda, California, also take rest seriously, especially spiritual rest. Each week they observe the Sabbath, a full day of rest and reflection. No errands, no work, no stress. Just time spent in nature, in prayer, or with family. This weekly pause creates mental space. It helps people reset, reconnect, and protect themselves from the wear and tear of constant busyness. You see, chronic stress wears the body down over time. It raises inflammation, weakens the immune system, and speeds up aging. That's why people who live long, healthy lives tend to have habits that reduce stress gently and consistently, not with pills or extremes, but through daily practices that calm the nervous system. In Okinawa, seniors often begin their day with quiet rituals, pouring tea, arranging flowers, saying a prayer. In Sardinia, they enjoy slow meals with family and talk for hours. These small acts may seem simple, but they create a powerful sense of stability and peace. Sleep, of course, plays a vital role. Long-living seniors tend to follow natural sleep-wake cycles. They go to bed not too late, wake up with daylight, and avoid heavy meals or screens before bed. If you've been struggling with sleep, try creating a calming bedtime routine. Dim the lights, play soft music, and let your mind wind down before slipping under the covers. Even the spaces around us matter. In many blue zones, homes are uncluttered, quiet, and connected to nature. A chair by the window, a plant in the corner, or a cup of tea on the porch, these are not luxuries. They are invitations to slow down, breathe, and rest. And perhaps one of the most important lessons is this: rest is not just physical, it's emotional too. Taking time to forgive, to let go of regrets, to release grudges, these are forms of rest that free the heart. When we carry less weight, inside we move more lightly through the years. So if your days have been feeling hectic or heavy, consider this your gentle reminder. It's okay to slow down, to nap, to say no, to make space for silence. These quiet moments are not empty. They are deeply healing. In our final section, we'll bring everything together. Let's look at how you can take these longevity lessons and apply them gently, step by step, in your own beautiful life. So here we are at the end of our journey around the world, through small villages, sunlit gardens, and kitchen tables filled with laughter. We've met elders who live not just long lives, but rich ones. Not because they chased youth, but because they embraced each season of life with purpose, balance, and care. What did we learn? That longevity isn't about finding the perfect diet or exercise trend. It's about living in rhythm with your body, your community, and your values. It's about eating simple, whole foods that nourish rather than exhaust. Moving gently but often. Surrounding yourself with people who care. Waking up with a reason to smile. And making room for quiet, rest, and joy. These aren't radical changes. In fact, they're quite the opposite. They're old familiar ways many of us once knew but may have forgotten in the rush of modern life. The good news is, it's never too late to return to them. Maybe you'll start with a short walk each morning, or prepare a meal slowly, with love. Maybe you'll reach out to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, or take a quiet moment each evening, just to breathe and be still. Whatever it is, I hope this video has reminded you that health is not about perfection. It's about direction, and every gentle step you take toward peace, connection, and care, it matters. It builds a foundation not just for longer years, but for deeper ones. So here's to you, to your resilience, to your journey, and to all the days ahead still waiting to be lived well. Thank you for spending your time with Senior Health and Happiness. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and most of all, stay kind to yourself. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone you care about. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one small habit you're adding to your daily routine? Your story might inspire someone else.